My name is Emily, and what I'm about to tell you happened when I was 12 years old. It's been 15 years since that Halloween night, but I still check my closet before bed. Every single night. You know that feeling when you're being watched. When every instinct in your body screams that something's wrong, but you can't see why. I ignored that feeling once. I'll never make that mistake again. It was Halloween 2009, and I was finally old enough to hand out candy by myself, while my parents took my younger brother trick-or-treating. I felt so grown-up, sitting on our porch in our quiet suburban neighborhood in Oregon, watching kids run from house to house in their costumes. The evening started normal enough. Groups of princesses, superheroes, and zombies came and went. I'd smile, drop candy in their bags, and watch them run to the next house. But around 8:30, when the streets started emptying out, he showed up. A boy, maybe my age, wearing a plain white mask. Not a store-bought one. This looked handmade, like papier-mâché, with crooked eye holes and a smile drawn in what looked like red marker. He wore dark clothes and stood perfectly still at the end of our driveway. "Happy Halloween," I called out, holding up the candy bowl. He didn't move, didn't say trick or treat. Just stared. I felt my skin prickle. "Do you want candy or not?" Still nothing. After what felt like forever, he slowly walked up our driveway. His movements were wrong somehow, too smooth, too deliberate. When he reached the porch steps, he stopped again. "Okay, this is getting weird," I muttered, tossing a handful of candy toward him. It landed at his feet. He didn't bend down to pick it up. Instead, he tilted his head, and I swear I heard him whisper something. "What?" I asked, leaning forward. "Can I come inside?" His voice was raspy, like sandpaper on wood. My blood went cold. "No, you need to leave." He took one step up, then another. I said leave. I grabbed the bowl and rushed inside, slamming the door and locking it. My hand was shaking as I peered through the peephole. He was gone. I exhaled, tried to calm down. It was just some creepy kid trying to scare me. Halloween prank, right? I left the porch light on and went to the living room, turning on the TV to distract myself. That's when I heard it. Tap, 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 on the back door. Our house backed up to woods. No one ever came to the back door. My heart hammered as I crept toward the kitchen. Through the window, I could see him. Same mask, same dark clothes, standing in our backyard. I ran upstairs to my room and called my mom. No answer. I tried again, straight to voicemail. My hands were shaking so badly, I could barely hold the phone. Then I heard the sound that still haunts me. The back door opening. I never locked it after letting our dog out earlier. Footsteps. Slow. Methodical. Moving through the kitchen. Into the hallway. I could hear him breathing. This wet, rattling sound. I did the stupidest thing possible. I hid in my closet. I crouched behind my clothes, hand over my mouth. Try not to breathe too loud. The footsteps reached the top of the stairs. My bedroom door creaked open. I watched through the crack in the closet door as he entered. He stood in the center of my room, head slowly turning, looking, searching. Then he walked to my closet. I pressed myself into the corner, tears streaming down my face. The door handle started turning. That's when my phone rang, my mom calling back. The sound shattered the silence. He stopped, tilted his head again, then turned and walked out of my room, down the stairs. I heard the back door close. When my parents got home 20 minutes later, they found me sobbing in the closet. The police came, searched everything. No signs of forced entry. Nothing stolen. Nothing disturbed. Except one thing. On my bedroom floor, right in front of the closet, he'd left something. The mask. And underneath it, a Polaroid photograph of me, sleeping in my bed, dated 3 nights before Halloween. He'd been in my house before, watching me, and I never knew. We moved 2 months later, but sometimes, late at night, I still wonder, is he watching someone else now? Or is he still watching me? My name is Tyler, and I need to tell you about the night I died. Well, almost died. Technically, I was dead for 47 seconds, but we'll get to that. When you're 16, you think you're invincible. You take dares. You do stupid things to impress people. You go into abandoned houses on Halloween night because some girl you like thinks it would be fun. I learned the hard way that some places are abandoned for a reason. This happened 3 years ago in rural Pennsylvania. My friends, Jake, Melissa, Brandon, and Rachel wanted to do something different for Halloween. We were too old for trick-or-treating, too young for the bar scene. Someone suggested the Morrow House. If you're from anywhere near Pittston, you know the Morrow House. 3 stories of rotting wood and broken windows, sitting at the end of a dirt road nobody uses anymore. Local legend said a family died there in the 70s. Carbon monoxide poisoning. They found them weeks later. Rachel dared us. Let's have a Halloween party there. Bring sleeping bags. Stay the whole night. It sounded exciting, rebellious. We grabbed flashlights, sleeping bags, and way too much beer we'd convinced Brandon's older brother to buy. We arrived at sunset, that golden hour when everything looks slightly unreal. The house was worse than I expected. Sagging porch, front door hanging off its hinges, graffiti covering the walls. But we were committed. Inside smelled like mold and decay. Our flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing water-stained walls and trash scattered everywhere. We set up camp in what used to be the living room, spreading sleeping bags in a circle. For the first hour, it was fun. We told scary stories, drank, laughed too loud. Brandon found an old Ouija board in one of the rooms, probably left by other stupid kids like us. Let's use it, Melissa said, already drunk. That's a terrible idea, I replied, but I was outvoted. We sat in a circle, fingers on the planchette. Jake asked the standard question. Is anyone here with us? The planchette didn't move. We all accused each other of pushing it. Then Melissa asked, How did you die? It moved. Slowly. Then faster. Couldn't breathe. Carbon monoxide, Rachel whispered. The family that died here. Brandon laughed it off. Said someone was obviously moving it. We put the board away and tried to go back to having fun. But the vibe had shifted. The house felt colder. Watching. Around midnight, Rachel went to find a bathroom. She came back 2 minutes later, face white. There's someone upstairs. Bullshit, Jake said. I heard footsteps. In the bedroom above us. We all went silent, listening. Then we heard it. Creaking floorboards directly above our heads. Slow, deliberate steps. Back and forth. Back and forth. Probably just the house settling. Brandon offered, but his voice shook. The footsteps stopped. Then we heard something that made my blood turn to ice. Children laughing. Multiple children. Upstairs. In an abandoned house. On Halloween night. We need to leave, I said, already stuffing my sleeping bag. That's when the smell hit us. Strong. Chemical. Sweet and nauseating. Melissa started coughing. Then Jake. Then all of us. Gas, Rachel choked out. Carbon monoxide. We ran for the front door. It wouldn't open. We'd left it open. I knew we had. But now it was stuck, like someone was holding it from the other side. Brandon and Jake threw themselves against it while the rest of us pounded on the windows, trying to break the glass. My vision was getting spotty. Melissa collapsed. The children's laughter grew louder, surrounding us, coming from every room at once. Then I saw them, on the staircase. 5 children, translucent and gray, holding hands, smiling. Their mouths and noses were black, like they'd been breathing smoke. The smallest one, a girl maybe 6 years old, pointed at us and whispered, "Stay and play." Everything went black. I woke up in a hospital bed 2 days later. The doctor said a neighbor heard screaming and called 911. The fire department found us unconscious inside the house. A portable generator someone had left in the basement was pumping carbon monoxide through the vents. We all survived. Barely. Melissa had brain damage from oxygen deprivation. I was clinically dead for 47 seconds before they revived me. Here's the thing nobody can explain. The generator? It hadn't been used in years. The gas tank was bone dry. The fire marshal confirmed it couldn't have been running. But all 5 of us had carbon monoxide poisoning. And when they reviewed the footage from Rachel's phone, she'd been recording earlier in the night. You can see them. In the background. In the windows. On the stairs. 5 children. Watching us. Waiting. The Morrow family didn't die in the 70s. They died in 1952. And they had 5 children. My name is Hannah, and I work as an ER nurse in Chicago. You see a lot of weird stuff on Halloween. People injured doing drunk stunts, kids with allergic reactions, the occasional prank gone wrong. But what walked into my emergency room last Halloween wasn't an injury. It was something else entirely. I've seen death. I've seen trauma that would break most people. I thought nothing could shock me anymore. I was wrong. October 31st, 2024. My shift started at 11 p.m. The ER was already chaos, costume-related injuries, alcohol poisoning, the usual Halloween rush. I was triaging patients when the paramedics wheeled someone in. Adult male, mid-20s, unresponsive, wearing an elaborate costume, full bodysuit with fur, a wolf mask that looked incredibly realistic, and what I assumed was fake blood covering his clothes. Found him collapsed in Lincoln Park, the paramedic said. Partygoers thought he was passed out drunk, but he's burning up. 104-degree fever. We got him into a bay. I started cutting away the costume to check vitals. That's when I noticed the smell, rotten meat, and something else. Something animal. Let's get this mask off, Dr. Reeves said, reaching for the wolf head. It wouldn't budge. Must be glued on, he muttered, pulling harder. The patient suddenly convulsed, eyes snapping open, except they weren't normal eyes. The pupils were wrong, elongated, like a cat's. The hell? Dr. Reeves stepped back. The patient started seizing. We administered medication, got him stabilized. But that mask, we couldn't get it off. It seemed fused to his skin. Give me shears, Dr. Reeves ordered. We're cutting it off. When the shears touched the mask, the patient screamed. Not a human scream, something guttural and wild. He thrashed so violently it took 4 of us to hold him down. Blood started seeping from under the mask's edges. Real blood. This isn't a costume, I whispered. We sedated him and got him to surgery. What they found. I still have nightmares. The mask wasn't a mask. It was fused to his skull. The fur wasn't fabric. It was growing from his skin. His bone structure had changed. His jaw had elongated. His teeth, God, his teeth, had become fangs. The CDC got involved immediately. Quarantine protocols. Hazmat suits. They took over the entire wing. We weren't allowed to leave. They said it might be a virus. A parasite. Genetic mutation. They didn't know. But I did. Because I'd read his chart. I'd seen his ID. His name was Connor Walsh. And he'd reported to the police 3 weeks earlier that he'd been bitten by a large dog while camping in Wisconsin. The wound had healed quickly. Too quickly. He thought he'd been lucky. Around 3 a.m., the sedation wore off. I was monitoring him through the observation window when he opened his eyes. They locked onto me, those predator eyes, and he smiled. His teeth had grown longer in just the past few hours. Then he spoke. His voice was layered, like multiple voices at once. It's almost midnight. Midnight was hours ago, I said through the intercom. Not Halloween midnight, the real midnight, when the veil is thinnest. He stood up. The restraints, thick leather straps, snapped like thread. Alarms blared. Security rushed in, but Connor moved faster than anything human. He crashed through the observation window like it was paper. The ER erupted into chaos. People screaming, running. Connor, or what Connor had become, was hunting, moving on all fours, impossibly fast, taking down security guards and CDC agents. I hid behind a nursing station, heart pounding so hard I thought it would give me away. I could hear him sniffing, searching. Then I saw another patient, an elderly woman in a wheelchair, directly in his path. Without thinking, I grabbed a fire extinguisher and ran out, screaming, trying to distract him. It worked. He turned toward me, crouched, prepared to leap. A gunshot rang out, then another, and another. CDC agents pumped him full of bullets. He stumbled, fell, that wolf face contorted in pain. As he died, something changed. The fur receded, the bones shifted. By the time he stopped breathing, Connor Walsh looked almost human again. Almost. The CDC cleaned everything up, made us sign NDAs. Official story. Gas leak caused mass hallucination. But here's what keeps me up at night. Before Connor died, he whispered something to me. I was close enough to hear. I bit 3 people. Before I knew, they're changing too. The CDC never found them. That was 1 year ago. Tomorrow is Halloween again. And somewhere in America, 3 people are about to discover what they've become. If you see someone in a wolf costume this Halloween, a really realistic one, maybe keep your distance, because it might not be a costume at all. My name is Michael, and I need to warn you about something before next Halloween. If you're trick-or-treating and you find a house that's giving out full-size candy bars, the really good ones, like Snickers and Reese's, you need to keep walking, especially if it's the only house on the street with its lights on. You're probably thinking I'm paranoid, but after what happened to my son last year, I'll never let him trick-or-treat again. Some prices are too high, even for the best candy. Last Halloween, my 8-year-old son Alex was beyond excited. It was his first year going out with friends instead of me. His big kid moment. I let him and 3 buddies go out in our neighborhood while I tracked them on my phone with Life 360. Our suburb in Minnesota is safe. Everyone knows everyone. What could go wrong? They hit every house on Maple Street, then Birch, then started down Oakwood Avenue. That's when Alex texted me. Dad, there's a house with full-size candy bars. Can we go in? Go in. I texted back. You mean go up to... No, they're inviting kids inside to pick candy from a huge bowl. Everyone's talking about it. Every parent alarm in my head went off. I called him immediately. Alex, do not go in that house. But Dad, Tommy's older brother, went in and got like 5 full-size Snickers. I don't care if they're giving away gold bars. You don't go into strangers' houses. Promise me. He promised. I felt better. The phone tracker showed them moving along normally, until they stopped. On Oakwood Avenue. For 11 minutes. I called. No answer. Called again. Nothing. I drove there in under 3 minutes, my wife calling the other parents. When I reached Oakwood, I saw a small crowd of parents gathered near one house, the only one with lights on. Alex and his friends were sitting on the curb, staring at nothing, eyes wide, unresponsive. Alex, I shook him. His eyes focused on me slowly, like he was waking from a deep sleep. Dad, his voice was small, distant. What happened? Did you go in that house? He nodded. The candy, we wanted the candy. The other kids were the same, responsive but dazed. We called 911. The police came, tried to enter the house. The door was locked, windows shuttered. When they finally broke in, the house was empty. Not just empty, it looked abandoned. Dust everywhere. No furniture, no lights, and definitely no candy. The doctor said all 4 kids had elevated stress hormones, but were physically fine. Probably just scared by something. Kids have active imaginations on Halloween. We took Alex home. He seemed okay. Quiet, but okay. Then, 3 days later, I found the candy. A full-size Snickers bar. In Alex's room. Still in the wrapper, but the wrapper was wrong, faded. like it was decades old. The expiration date, October 1987. Alex, where did you get this? He looked at it with empty eyes. From the bowl. The lady said I could take it. What lady? There was no one in the house. She was there. His voice was flat, emotionless. She was really old. Her hands were cold when she gave me the candy. She smiled a lot. Too much. Her teeth were all gray. My blood went cold. What did she say to you? She said the candy was special, that it was a trade. A trade for what? Alex finally looked at me, really looked at me, and whispered. She took 7 years, from each of us. I thought he was traumatized, making things up, until I saw the photos from Halloween night. My wife had taken pictures of the kids before they left. Alex's face was smooth, young, happy. I compared it to how he looked now, 3 days later. The difference was subtle, but there. Fine lines around his eyes. His face slightly more angular. His hands looked older, bigger. I took him back to the doctor. They ran tests. Everything normal. But when they checked his dental records against his current x-rays, they found something impossible. His wisdom teeth were growing in, at 8 years old. This is highly unusual, the dentist said. These typically don't emerge until the mid to late teens. I checked with the other parents. All 4 kids were showing signs of accelerated aging, minor but measurable. I hired a private investigator to research the house. What we found made me sick. The house on Oakwood Avenue has been abandoned since 1987. The last owner, Eleanor Voss, age 73, was found dead inside on November 1st, 1987, the day after Halloween. The coroner's report noted something strange. Her body showed signs of extreme age. She looked 90, but when they checked her teeth and bones, she was biologically closer to 50. The house had been notorious in the 80s. She always gave out full-size candy bars, always invited kids inside. In October 1987, 7 children went in. They all came out 47 minutes later, unable to remember what happened inside. All 7 of those kids are in their 40s now. Every single one of them died before reaching 50. Heart attacks, strokes, cancer. Their bodies aged rapidly. Eleanor Voss died at 73, looking 90. But she'd been doing this for years, trading candy for life, stealing years from children to extend her own existence. Alex is 9 now. Physically, he looks 12. We've seen specialists. No one can help. They say he's developing early. They don't know what I know. If he keeps aging at this rate, he'll be dead before he's 30. So please, if you see that house this Halloween, any house that seems too generous, too eager to get kids inside, walk away. Some treats aren't worth the trick. And if your child comes home with candy that seems too old, expired, wrong somehow, throw it away. Burn it. Because Eleanor Voss might be dead, but whatever she was, it's still hungry. Which story disturbed you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've experienced anything paranormal on Halloween, I want to hear about it. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more true horror stories. Stay safe this Halloween, and maybe keep the lights off.